Hello, sprinters, and welcome to the live training. I'm super pumped to have you here. We will talk about traction, how to gain traction if you are restarting your business, how you can regain traction with either new products in your current market or by really innovating something. And traction means that people really want to buy from you. Every week you get inquiries and they want to buy from you. And the people who buy from you, they want more and they ask for more. So how to get to traction? This is what we will talk about. The technical term is product market fit, how to validate your market. You have validated the product, but how can you validate the market? Let's jump into it. I'm Simon Severino. I'm the CEO and founder of Strategy Sprints. At Strategy Sprints, we do only one thing, strategy in sprints. Strategy means your monthly revenue, more reliable, more predictable. In sprints means doing it in a way that gives you more and more energy every week for the next week, because it's a series of sprints. Now, we will be talking about how you can find market validation, which exact KPIs to use, because there are hard milestones to know that you have market validation. So what are the KPIs with which you can measure that you have reached or are going towards market validation for your product? And then we will go into the action plan. I have 10 steps for you that are a real, very specific, very applicable checklist. It's the mantra of our clients that they do every week until they have market validation, because when you have market validation, then you have a business and now you can scale it. Now it works repeatably, consistently, and works also without you if you create the right systems. All right, let's jump into it. What is product market fit? Mark Andreessen, one of the authorities in the field, says product market fit means being in a good market with a product that can satisfy that market. So people are there, they want to buy from you, they buy from you, and they are happy. There are 4 stages of building a company. So first, you build a product. That's the first 3 stages. And then you build a company. If the product is really good, you start then building a company. Let's see the 4 stages. The first one is customer discovery. You try and find out really what are the needs out there and which one are unmet. So are there any needs right now out there in the world that are not satisfied because people don't find it easy enough or interesting enough to build something? So what can we build? That's phase 1. You are still in idea phase. Then you find something. Okay, there is this need. I have built this prototype. I've tested it. It works. I have product validation. So you did validate your product. Now there is only one thing missing, the traction. Traction means the demand. So people are calling you and say, hey, can I have that? Can I have more of that? What else do you have? That's market validation. And every week people want to buy from you. Then you have the market validation, which is step 3. And today we want to discuss exactly how do you go from 2 to 3, from a validated product to a validated market. So you have a great product, but you want to really measure and validate quantitatively that you have a market, so that people want to buy from you and that you are onto something. Then when you have 3, you can move by systemizing that. Now you have a business, and now if you create scalable processes, then now you really have a value machine created that works without you. You can go on 5 weeks vacation, you can sell it. It even works better when you are on vacation. So that's step 4, but that's not what we're going to discuss here. If you want to go to step 4, we have an accelerator for that. It's a 90-day program that brings you from 3 to 4. But right now the focus is, how do I validate the market? Let's jump into it. So the impediment to action advances. Action with what stands in the way becomes the way, says Marcus Aurelius, which is, I think, a very good way to frame wherever you are. If you are going from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, wherever you are, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. So don't think, if you now, when you see the KPIs, many of you will say, oh, I thought I have a business, but I'm still in product validation. I'm not even at market validation according to these KPIs. And you might feel a little bit low. Remember, what stands in the way becomes the way. So there is always an obstacle. Also, when you are in 4, you will have different other obstacles. So every stage, there is no stage that is better than another stage. Every stage has its obstacles, and what is in the way becomes the way. So there will be always something that stands in front of your growth, and that's the agenda for that week. That's what we call the focus of the week. So stay positive, keep rolling, and use the checklists. Now, how to know if you have product market fit? Are there any tangible things that you can do, or is it just guessing? So there are tangible things. 4 of them. First one is, you know that you have product market fit when people buy quickly. Means you tell them what you have and they buy in 2 to 4 weeks. Now, some sales cycles are very long because complex sales and high ticket, etc. Yes, many sales cycle of people working with us are between 12 and 16 months. So yes, there is also that, but then it means changing the offering, aligning the offering, simplifying the offer, creating a value ladder that has a very simple entry point, a fast main product, and later then a bigger upsell. But the main product should be bought quickly. Otherwise, you have still work to do. Number 2, users, without being solicited, tell their friends and colleagues to buy your offer. Hey, you know what? You have to check that. This is what happens when you have a validated market. The product is so good that people go out there and tell others to buy it. And the difference is, to product fit, they don't tell people to try it. They tell really to buy it, invest in it, pay money for it. Number 3, your offer creates transformative value. What is transformative value? It's not enough to have great features. Many things have great features. A phone can have great features that you not even know are there. Like, I don't know even half of the features that my phone has, or my computer. But the transformation is what I can tell. I can tell you when I buy a specific brand of computers that I feel it is transforming my day, because everything is working better, is looking better, and it feels better. So that's my brand of choice regarding hardware, and that's the transformative value. It is a little bit more expensive than other hardwares, but the transformative value is so appealing to me that I am happy to pay a little bit more if it makes my life brighter, working better, so less friction. It makes my life effortless, and it makes my life more bright and more beautiful. I am happy to pay for it because it fits to my values. So the transformative value is not your features, it's the benefit. What changes in the life of the user if they use it, as opposed to if they don't use it. That's the transformative value. So if you don't have transformative value, you have to work on the product until it gets a good product. Maybe it's not yet a good product, or it is a good product, but you are talking too much features and people don't even see what the transformative value is. For example, in sales, we say convert with contrast. So when you're negotiating the price of something. Let's say you're a service business and you are doing photography and you are negotiating making photos for a website. So you can say, okay, per hour, that's what I charge. Or you can say, you invest $11,000 in having a website that converts every week 5 more clients because you have the right pictures that depict the right mood. It's very different, right? So now you have the contrast between their current website and how their website converts if they have the right photos. And now you don't say the photos cost you $500 per hour of my work. You say you invest 11,000, and the difference is between costs and invest. Costs is money out of the window, it's gone. Invest is you put $1 in to do $3 for you. That's an investment. So that's how you frame the offer. And if your offer really creates transformative value, then you know you have market validation. Fourth and last point on how to see if you have market validation right now is that customers come back and buy again. So they say, ooh, do you have more? What else do you have? So they come back for more. They come back for more. If you have these 4 things, you have market validation. Now let's get numeric. How to measure your product market fit. If you are searching for investments, for example, you need to have these KPIs in place. If you want to really show validation, wherever you want to show it, you need these KPIs in place. So let's get numeric. The 5 KPIs for market validation are the Net Promoter Score. How happy are your client? Do they say that they will promote it or not? And in the NPS, there is much more questions that you can ask. We have, I think, 8 questions in our NPS survey that we ask every 30 days and every 90 days to every client. And we ask what's working, what's not working, what was your biggest success that you had through this program. So you can ask really specific things, and this is the superpower of installing an NPS system, because when you ask these 5 questions, so you want at least to ask 2 questions about what's not working, 2 questions about what's working really well, and the last question is the NPS question: would you refer our product to friends and colleagues? And these are really key questions. So the NPS is a number that then goes from minus 100 to plus 100. And if you have an NPS which is higher than 40, you are doing really well, plus 40. So the goal of our business is to stay at 98. And it should be the goal of your product team to have a higher NPS every week, higher by 1%. So do not make the mistake that many people out there do, that is benchmarking themselves against other industries or other teams. You can only benchmark yourself against your performance of last week. So if you have an NPS of 17, make your goal of having next week an NPS of 18. Second KPI is the number of second buy. We call it retention. Our value chain is awareness, nurturing, close opportunity, closing, fulfillment, retention. And now here we measure every 7 days, but maybe for you it's enough to measure it every 30 days, but you want to have that number. How many people buy a second time or a third time? So how many people buy more than once? And then in percent, what's the percentage of people who buy a second time? The length of the sales cycle. 4 weeks would be great. 2 weeks is fantastic. 14 months is a bit long. What can you do to make it shorter? Because the length of the sales cycle has implications on your cash flow, and it is usually a sign that you need to work more on the offering and how you communicate the offer. So to communicate it more clear, more simple, more appealing, to have an irresistible offer. Last KPI, number 5, is the lifetime value. So if they buy a first time, what's the price of your main product? Let's say it's $10,000. What's the price of your main upsell? Let's say it's 20,000. So then the lifetime value would be 30,000. How much do they spend in 1 year on average with you? So that's a lifetime value. So if they buy 2 times, how much revenue is that for you? That's the lifetime value. These are the 5 KPIs on how to measure. And now, what do you need to do? So let's go to the action plan. There are exactly 10 things that you need to do. And I really recommend to print this and to put it on your wall. And if you are a startup or if you are innovating, put it on your wall, do it every day, like your mantra. Do these 10 things every week, check them off, and do not let emotions derail you, because you will have a couple of great days where you feel too high, and that's also bad for your progress, but you will have many days where you feel too low, and that can slow you down, can bring you even about many people in that stage, they think about quitting and they quit too fast. So keep rolling is what we say. Print this, put it on your wall, check it off every week, and keep rolling. Do not stop. Do this for 1 year and just concentrate on it every day. So these are the 10 steps how to achieve product market fit. First, define your ideal client. The good news is you don't need 100 clients. You need just one client 100 times. What does that mean? Speak always to one person. Whenever you produce content, you write an email, you create a landing page, speak to one person. Always have in mind one person, and this person is your ideal client. We call it the avatar. And we segment it 5 levels deep. That means this person is really specific. So a common mistake is to say, who's your client? So this product is for all knowledge workers. That's much too broad. You are talking to nobody right now. This is like writing a love letter to a person, but instead of the name of the person, you say to whom it may concern. That's not a good love letter. It will not work. So think of one person. And this is why in our accelerator program, we spend time working with you on your ideal client, and you write 5 pages about this ideal client. What are their dreams, their aspirations, their needs, their pains, their goals? And how do they wake up in the morning? What do they need to solve? What do they struggle with? What keeps them awake at night? This is really important. And many people do not spend enough time at this stage in working that out. So write 5 pages about your ideal client, and then you talk just to this person. Are they male or female, in Europe or in Asia? Are they 32 or 61? Are they digital mature or not digital mature? Do they have a dog or 3 kids or no kids? This is all relevant. Do they play golf or are they triathletes? This is really relevant. And then you imagine them and you talk directly to them. Great examples are the books of Peter Drucker. Whenever you read that, you think, oh, he's talking to me. Because he was writing exactly like he was teaching his physical class, university class. So always write your copy, your website, your emails with one person in mind. And remember, you only need one client 100 times. So if you really talk to this person, they will feel seen and heard and understood. They will be happy when they buy. and they will tell other people because it's right, it's appropriate, and they want to help others. They don't care about you, they care about helping other people because this is really helpful and needed. So they will automatically tell other people, not because of you, but because it works and it is appropriate. So that's the ideal client. So define it means write 5 pages about this person and then talk to this person. Step number 2 is really understand their unmet needs, pains, fears, dreams, and goals. How do you do that? The first exercise, you were imagining. Now you go out there and collect. This is about the data. This is why we love collecting the NPS, because we have these 8 questions. And when they answer, we have the exact words that they use. And with these exact words, every 7 days we get them, we review them, and then we change a little bit of something on the website, in our email sequences, etc. We use their exact words because this is how they think. This is their belief system. And you need first to be emotional. So connect. The human company wins. The human communication wins. So connect to them from human to human. And that's an emotional thing. We are emotional beings. The second thing is you have to pick them up at their bus stop. They will not buy when you are ready to sell. They will buy when they are ready to buy. What does that mean for your actions? It means you have to pick them up at their bus stop and then bring them from that bus station, from that bus station to the next bus station, to the next bus station, to the next bus station, and the last station you bring them in is buying your offer. But you have to start where they are. You have to pick them up. Otherwise, they are not in your bus. So you have no rapport, you have no relation. You lose them. If you want to connect, you have to use their exact words. And this is how you will refine and get more precise, more appropriate, more engaging every week. Because every 7 days you review that and you refine the words in your emails, on your website, in your social media postings, accordingly to the people you really seek to serve, your ideal client. So this is why it's important to install an NPS that asks everybody, every client, every 30 days. Then you pick one. Now, this is really important. Focus on one. Many teams, they test 7 things at once. It's too much. It's too much. You will deplete your energy. You have to stay fresh, stay motivated. So pick one of their unmet needs and write down your assumption in a way that can be invalidated. So an assumption or a hypothesis, this comes from science, the scientific method. Karl Popper said a theory is a validated hypothesis. And a hypothesis is something that you can invalidate or validate. So from every hypothesis, there must be an opposite hypothesis, which is also appealing, but it can be shown that it is wrong. So write the hypothesis in a way that you can invalidate it. If you go on our website, you find exactly this tool, the hypothesis validation tool. This is our structure as we use it. And it says what's the title, what is the assumptions you want to test, how will you invalidate, what is the experiment, what is the currency and what is the threshold of this experiment, how long will this experiment be, what needs to be true so that you see if this is going to work or not. And then with that, you have a structured way of validating. We love having this structured way. One example would be when Elon Musk wanted to see if people would buy the first Tesla. It was a hypothesis, right? So before building the car, he created a landing page and there was a prototype there and a waiting list. And he set for himself the threshold and the currency. The currency was in dollars. And I don't remember, I think it was around No, I really don't remember the dollars, but let's say it was $200. Are you interested? Join the waiting list. And then he set for himself a duration. Will I test for 4 weeks or 6 weeks? Limit the time that you test so that you can really then check for invalidation or validation. And then when you have that number of people on the waiting list, then you see, okay, 600 people did send $200 to be on the waiting list. How do we interpret these numbers? Now, do we say it's invalidated or it's validated? And that's why you have to define it really upfront, because otherwise you will have a fuzzy zone and not be sure if the hypothesis is validated or not. So write down your hypothesis, write down how you will invalidate, what is the currency, what is the threshold, and the duration. When the duration date comes, then you measure, and then you know if it's invalidated or validated. Step 4, create an uncomparable solution. Differentiation is an ongoing process, but it starts here. Whenever you can be compared by price, you are not differentiated enough. So, what can you compare Apple with? Nothing. What can you compare Tesla with? Nothing right now, because they do their proper job of creating a product that is uncomparable. And that is why they can have a higher price than if they would have comparable solutions. So when you enter an Apple store, there is not even a price there. It's not a store, it's more like a church. It's about the idea, and it's about the philosophy and the state of mind and the state of beauty or not beauty, of working or not working. But there are not even prices there. So if it was a store, you would see the price and you go and compare the prices with other hardwares, but there is no comparison. You cannot compare that hardware to other hardware. It's not the same thing. So avoid vanilla and try to become uncomparable, because remember, you need only one client, but 100 times. This one client will know exactly. So there is an exercise from the EKS Engpasskonzentrierte Strategie, which was developed 40 years ago. It was promoted very well by the Blue Ocean Strategy book, which calls it, I think, the strategy map. And at the end, it's about map out your key buying criteria. So what does the customer buy when they buy your product? And list out the main 8 buying criteria. Can be price, quality, speed, reliance, frictionless, turnkey solution, whatever it is. And then pick 1 or 2 and say, this is where we are going to be number 1. And then take all the rest and say, give that to your competition. So you don't need to be number 1 in everything, but you should strive for number 1 in one thing. And that's the equalizer of your strategic differentiation. You pick one and you say, we are going to be the fastest, but we are not going to have the best community. Okay, so the equalizer goes up for one thing, and it goes down for all the rest. You leave the rest to the competition. That's step 4. Create an uncomparable solution. Don't go for vanilla. And now at this stage, many people say, but I need the first cash flow. Yes, you need the first cash flow, and you should strive for that, but you will not get to a reliable cash flow if you cater to the wrong people. You have to cater to the right people, because the right people, they will bring you to the other people. And in this stage, in the early stage of venture building, you really have one lever, and that's your network. So your first clients will then bring your second and third client, because they will talk to their friends and say, hey, you know what, this changed my life. Check this, it's a new solution for that old problem that we have. And then you have a warm lead which trusts you because their friend trusts you. So especially at the beginning, I know it feels counterintuitive, but especially at the beginning, treat your product as if it was just for one client and communicate to that client and let all the others go. If you take on the wrong clients, you will have bad reputation, bad feedback, bad results. Your NPS will be low. You will not get to market validation. Number 5. Now validate before building. Remember the Tesla example? He didn't build the car and then test. First, you test the market. So you tested the concept, now you test the market, and when you know the market, now you build it. So fast forward with zero budget, just take $100, make a Google ad, and make an A/B test. Test two headlines for a book, for example. If you are coming up with a book, Tim Ferriss did this very long ago when he was searching for the right title for the 4 hours work week. He made an A/B test on as a Google ad, and then this was the title that came up. It was not his favorite title. It was the one which had quick validation. So the number came back. He picked this title. It became a long-lasting bestseller because he did the proper work of validating before building. Then test with 5 customers, and then you build. And why 5? Because if you test with 9, you do not get more reliable data than with 5. 5, and you know enough to start. Number 6, and this is the sprinter of all animals, the cheetah. Refine the offer according to the feedback you collected. So now, again, the NPS give you not just the exact words that you used for website and email, but the NPS gave you now what's working, what's not working. What's not working, that's where now you go and improve the product, improve the product, improve the product. Because when it's done well, now you will know exactly, again from the NPS survey, what the transformative value is. Now your sales team, or if you are your sales team at this stage, you can go out there with high confidence and say, we are experts in X. This brings you Z, and you invest this amount of money to get that. Convert with contrast. So this is what you get, this is what you pay, the contrast, let's go. And then you start selling and track your weekly sales number. You want to track now every conversion. You have to map out a rough customer journey. So from awareness to nurturing to sales opportunity to closing to fulfilling and retaining and upselling and cross-selling. And then you measure every conversion, again in numbers, that's a numeric game, every week. And the focus for the next 7 days, we work in sprints. So one sprint is 7 days. Every sprint has one focus, and the focus is always improve by 1% the bottleneck in that value chain. So whatever the current bottleneck is, let's say you have 1,000 people who go on your website and they click your product, but they don't buy, then you know where the bottleneck is. So focus of this week's sprint, improve that conversion from 1,000 views to people who really put that in their cart. So you will work on the text, on the content, on the technical obstacles, and try to improve that by 1% in 7 days. And that's how you improve every week, by improving the one bottleneck by 1%. Number 8, you have now the users, they put it in their cart and they are using it. Now make them raving fans. Over deliver. You have promised something that they have bought now deliver much more. Just much more. Improve your product every week based on customer feedback. We have one of our sprinters, Lisa. We had a call on Sunday, and I asked her, but Lisa, are you not putting too much effort in this? First, it's Sunday, and second, you are not really sure if they will buy, but you are creating something amazing. Are you sure? Or would you like to just do the minimum effort? And she said, Simon, that's not how we work. we over deliver. So you see, that's core values. And try not just to make customer happy, but to make them successful. So over deliver, really care about them and their success. And this will create raving fans that then go out there and want to help their friends. Keep iterating. So repeat the steps 5 to 8 that we went through until you scale it up and up and up. Now you have the winning first loop. This loop, repeat, repeat, repeat. So the loop gets bigger and bigger and bigger, because now one happy client, if you call them and say, "Oh, you're happy, I am very glad to hear that. And by the way, do you know 3 people who need this?" And they will be glad to tell you the 3 names. So out of one client, you make 3 clients, and now the loop is bigger. And this is exponential growth if you can go from 1 to 3. So don't underestimate that. That's a strong growth machine if you can just work through referrals, because at this stage of your product building, which is not yet company building, this is how you grow. There is no magic formula. It's just making one person happy, making their 3 friends happy, and growing from there. And then you scale the loop by just doing good work and more good work. Last step is the refinement. This is my favorite, because now you go, it's like going to one piece of art, let's say it's a sculpture, and you just refine one thing here, one thing here. Every day you come by and make one little improvement. You curate a little bit, you put a little bit more love into it. So it becomes better and better and better. And what is a good copy? A good copy is one that feels like listening. If you go on a website, think of, does this website look inviting? Compare it to a restaurant. You go down your street, there are 3 restaurants there. Which one is most inviting and why? Make this exercise today. When you go down the street, there will be one which is more dark and people are looking the other side. It's not that inviting. And then there is one which is more open and people are looking at you when you go by, and there you feel like invited to go in there. Check your website, your emails, etc., if they are inviting. Are they positive? Are they creating a nice atmosphere? Are they elevating? Are they showing benefits and success? So refine your copy. The best copy is the one that feels like listening. Now, you can read a text and it feels like, they're trying to sell something. And you can read a text which is, oh my God, this is my world. This is how I feel. I just didn't know the words for it. This is the story of my life. It's talking about me. Oh, this is me. That's a good copy, right? It feels like listening. It feels like you are seen, you belong, and people really want to belong. People don't want to be sold. People want to belong, to be seen, and to solve their problems. So focus around that, and you will get to market validation sooner than later. That's it. You can, of course, go deep into resources. And one more thing. Now, when people implement it, they sometimes have a CRM system. Yeah, Simon, I have a CRM system. But when I look into it, it's just a list. So the list is not enough. You need a dynamic information system which tells you these are the hot leads today, these are the warm leads today. And you need to integrate your sales system with your CRM and marketing system. It can be very simple by using tags. What you need to know every day is who is interested, who is super interested, who is ready to buy. And this is then what you do every day. It's a contact sport. You try to engage with them, to talk to them, get them to use the product, etc. Inform them about the benefits and close the deal. That's the sports that you have to do. It's a contact sports, all right? Don't think about scalability right now. You don't need to automate anything at this point because you are still validating the market. When you have market validation, then you call the strategy sprints and then we systemize and automate everything. But before, you have to find out that there is market validation for your product. And this is a contact sport and this is manual and this is wasting a lot of time, but it's not wasted. It's well invested. You have conversation, physical conversation, Zoom conversation, whatever. You engage, and get people informed, get people to use it and observe how they use it to improve. Now there is one thing. First, integrate them and then improve one bottleneck every week. If you don't know what the bottleneck is, we have put together a 15 minutes exercise. It's free. And after that 15 minutes, you know exactly what your bottleneck is. And it's strategysprints.com/sales. When you go there, you have a set of questions that you answer for 15 minutes. And after it, you know exactly where your bottleneck is. And then you focus just on that. All right. So, summary. If you want to validate your market because you have a good product, but you don't know if you have a market yet, there are 10 steps that you need to do. Print them out, put them on your wall, and just do this every week. Whenever you have emotions, very high or very low, don't care. Don't let emotions guide you. Be like the Stoics. Stay in your lane, stay centered, just do your work. Every day, these 10 things, and you will get to market validation faster. Keep rolling, everybody. Bye-bye.